State Local Government General Election, Public Enlightenment and Civic Education. The Local Government Council General Election in Delta State is around the corner. It is another opportunity to exercise your civic right by voting for the candidates of your choice on March 6, 2021 by using your voter's card. You are expected to visit the polling station closest to you come March 6, 2021 at 8 a.m. for simultaneous accreditation and voting so that you can cast your vote for the chairmanship and councillorship candidate of your choice. Exercise your civic right. Be wise in the use of your vote. Avoid thuggery and ballot box snatching, as security personnel will be on ground to maintain law and order. Remember, your vote is your power. Please note, no face mask, no voting. This message is brought to you by the Delta State Independent Electoral Commission, DCEC.
So bright, Spain, so colorful, Spain, so beautiful.
Oh yes, Bonalot paint, manufactured by Jagbone Industries with high technology, good quality control to withstand African tough weather conditions, has maintained its reputation over the years as choice paint among master builders because Bonalot paint is so colorful, so durable that for many years it does not fade. Hence, your building will be shining. Bonalot paint is available in emulsion, gloss, test coat, and many other products. All stakeholders and executives in the construction business has given thumbs up for Bonalot paint. Are you a contractor, a project owner? Bonalot paint is available at any paint shop near you. Bonalot paint. You build a house, Bonalot will make it a home.
Bonalot paint, so durable.
The Delta State Innovation Hub and the Ministry of Science and Technology present a free 4-month ICT Youth Empowerment Program, ICT YEP. Courses available are Web Development Training, UI UX, Mobile Development, Advanced Networking, CCTV, Home and Small Office Networking, Solar Installation, and more. Interested applicants should visit the website www.deltastateihub.com to apply. Note that shortlisted candidates would be invited for a computer-based test. Wow! Starter packs will be given on completion of the free 4-month training program. Application portal closes on 1st March 2021 at midnight. Visit the website www.deltastateihub.com to apply. For more inquiries, call 0904 222 3339. Skill up! Don't miss this amazing opportunity. Signed, Engineer Matthew Shakiri, Commissioner for Science and Technology, Delta State.
The DBS Essay Writing Competition is finally here. The DBS Essay Writing Competition Season 1 invites all registered students. Second stage, 5th March 2021, Nana College, Warri at 10 a.m. Third stage, 13 March 2021 at Hussey College, Warri at 10 a.m. And the first, second, and third winner will emerge for the junior and senior categories, while the grand finale for presentation of prizes comes up 18th March 2021 at Federal Government College, Warri. Come with your face mask and put on your school uniform for the competition. DBS Essay Writing Competition is proudly powered by Delta Broadcasting Service, Warri, and supported by the State Coordinator, Rasmet Publication Limited, number 16 New Court Road, Ogbagi, Ibadan, Oyo State. Telephone 0806 8054 124. B-Man Printing, Warri. Power E Publishers Limited, Warri. Jamak Printing, Warri. Macadam Publishers Limited, Benin. Telephone 0803 393 8731 0802 230 6530. Bryant's Hospital Limited, Mudaga Oja Street, Mebere Kumagbalea at Warri. Telephone 0803 5510498. Thai Deco with focus on decoration and catering services. Number 4, Ojugo Close, Egbeliat, off Square State, Efru. Telephone or indicators.
Glorious Home Call. The family of late Chief Oji Anene and late Mrs. Nwuliwe Oji Ni Chiejine, both of Ubuluku and Nyochon South local government area of Delta State, announced the passing on to glory of their son, father, brother, and uncle, late Pa Nelson Nwokolocha Oji, aka Spakwe, who slept in the Lord January 9, 2021 at the age of 87. He is survived by 3 children and 8 grandchildren, brothers, sisters, and other relatives. Funeral arrangement. Thursday, 4th March 2021, 5 p.m. service of songs at Pa Nelson Nwokolocha Oji resident, Uba Kota, Ubuluku, and Nyocha South local government area. Friday, 5th March 2021, 11 a.m. funeral service at St. Mark's Anglican Church, Ubuluku. 1 p.m. interment and entertainment of guests at his residence. Sunday, 7th, Alton service at St. Mark's Anglican Church, Ubuluku. Signed, Camry Daniel Oji, Delta Broadcasting Service Warri for children, and Pa Godfrey Oji for family.
DRTV News tonight. Government Fire Corps inspects ongoing projects in Uwe and Warri, set to commission completed projects Tuesday. Ahead of local government elections on Saturday, candidates of People Democratic Party steps up campaign solicits votes. Price of tomatoes, fresh pepper and onions skyrockets as traders urge Deltans to go into farming. Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation dispels rumor of impending hike in home price of petrol. And on the foreign scene, Nigerians Kunjewela resumed duty at World Trade Organization headquarters in Geneva. A very good evening to you and welcome to DRTV News Tonight. I'm Ugali Mafru. Thank you for joining us. To get regular news updates from DRTV and Melody FM, visit our website dbswarrior.com. You can download the app DBS Warrior on Google Play Store for live stream of our news bulletins and morning programs. Like our page Delta Broadcasting Service Warrior on Facebook or through our Apple website. Through our social media platforms, you can hook up to DBS Warrior anytime from any part of the world. Government Fire Corps on Monday inspected ongoing construction of stormwater projects in Efru, Warri and environs, and backed upon by the Warri Uwe and Environs Special Area Development Agency, where the correspondent John Glover reports that Government Corps was taking around the drainage project while the Director General of WIDA, Komirubuzi Yemakon, the report.
Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, accompanied by top government functionaries, was taken around the drainage projects in Warri and Efru by the Director General of the Warri Uwe and Environs Special Area Development Agency, WEDA, Comrade Ovuzere Macaulay. Some of the areas inspected are the drainage channels at Commissioner Road off Uti Road, Efru, DSC Roundabout, Stanley Atumu Street along Ugbolokposo Road, Okoribi Road in Uwe local government area, as well as the Enere Junction along Warri Saple Road and Igbudu Primary School, where the water will be channeled to the popular Igbudu River. The governor also inspected the drainages at Ejeba Road, the bridge at Ajamoga Link Road, ACC Road, Mewe Street in GRA Warri. Speaking to newsmen at the end of the exercise, Governor Ifeanyi Okowa expressed satisfaction with the quality of work done, but noted that the work, which was slated to be completed in 2 years, was slowed down by the coronavirus pandemic. He expressed confidence that when completed, the project will solve the flood problem in Warri, Efru and environs, restating its commitment towards a stronger Delta agenda.
But I'm glad with the quality of work, which is important. I'm also glad that obviously the part that they've even done already was already impactful in the last rainy season, and we hope that by this rainy season there will be a lot of mitigation of the flooding problem in Warri. You are seeing for yourselves the extent of the drainage being done, and I believe that is what we ought to have done several years. This is a product of a lot of study.
Some residents who spoke to DRTV News Warri commended Governor Okowa for the drainage project, noting that it will help solve the perennial flood problem in the twin cities of Warri and Efru.
We that is from NRA and different communities in this Udu, we are seeing great things that Okowa is doing in this Delta state.
In a perfect job, beyond human expectation. We know if there's rain, there will be no flood of water in this environment.
We pass through stress about the water, but this period now, since he has done this job, this project, I believe with this flood will subside. There will be no flood this period.
Former member of House of Representatives, Honorable Evelyn Oboro, member representing Ubiye constituency in the Delta State House of Assembly, Honorable Solomon Ikurakpata, and Honorable Ramsin Unuyake hailed Governor Okowa for the gigantic projects.
It's a project that I know would arrest the flooding system and flood Warri. It's really the channels are properly done.
If you experience the last rains we just had, the flooding in Warri and Ubiye, not as much as it used to be previous years.
It has come to end as in flood in Ubiye and Warri and this environs.
Governor Ifeanyi Okowa is expected to commission some of his star projects in Warri and Efru on Tuesday. For DRTV News, John Glover reporting.
Weather correspondent John Glover Davis Obojobo in Kingsley Ago weather for DRTV.
Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, who frowned at the activities of land developers who erect structures or natural water channels in Warri, Efru and environs, noted that the activities is the major cause of flooding in both cities. He disclosed that buildings erected on natural water channels will be demolished as the state government has carried out several warnings in the last 2 years.
The other thing I've noticed in the course of movement is that there are buildings on the right of way, if I want to put it that way. Unfortunately, people build on waterways, and which ought not to be. However, those that have a formal approval and they are not directly on water courses, they will be paid their compensation. But those deliberately building on water courses, hoping to get a compensation because the project is already going on, because we saw some new buildings going on. I'm sorry, obviously we are not going to give any compensation. We are going to bring down those buildings. I've warned about this 2 years ago, and therefore anybody who started this construction in the last 2 years will definitely lose that building without a dime from the state government.
Governor Okowa noted that compensation will not be paid to the owners of the affected buildings except they have approval from the state government.
They have approval.
While the state government is presently expanding the Jedugo to Bokudu Road project in Upe local government area, following the road expansion, owners of shops illegally constructed, including makeshift stores along the stretch of the road, are being demolished and dismantled. Some buildings, including the old Jedu Town Hall, are also marked for demolition. At the Jedu Bridge, a makeshift bridge is being constructed for easy access by motorists and other road users to enable the construction firm construct the old bridge that is already falling. While some persons, especially shop owners, frowned at the recent demolition of their shops, which they say was their only source of income, motorists, commercial, tricycle riders and other road users say they are grateful for that the state government is expanding the road. The traders and residents noted that the road expansion will address the issue of regular traffic congestion experienced on the Jedu-Boto-Bukodo road. As at the time of filing this report, some shop owners and structures marked for demolition were yet to be removed. Well, the state governor, Dr. Emfayo Kowa, has been inspecting projects that will transform the environment through urban renewal in fulfillment of his people-oriented programs for residents of the outer state. With me on the news tonight to throw more light on the drainage control projects that were inspected today by Governor Emfayo Kowa is the State Commissioner for Information, Mr. Chazen Yago. Honorable Commissioner for Information, thank you for joining us on the DRTV News tonight.
Thanks for having me. I hope you are enjoying yourself in Warri.
Very well, sir. And you too?
Well, I'm happy we are here. Of course, you know, it's a commercial city. Right. So whenever you're around here, you feel the pulse of the city.
You're very welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Well, we understand that you were with the governor during the inspection today. Can you run through some of the projects that were inspected in Warri and through and environs by Governor Emfayo?
Well, thank you very much. I'm happy that coming in here, so noticed that you have invited the Director General of the Warri and Environment Special Development Agency, who I believe has a lot of information with regards to what the agency is doing, because he's the one supervising those projects. But I want to talk about the philosophy behind the decision of government to both establish that agency and indeed to take on this number of projects. In the last 5.5 years, a number of persons have been saying, why don't you just tackle all the roads in Warri? Of course, you know, we have been able to address a number of routes by reconstructing and expanding a number of them, but we felt there was the need to study properly the terrain, and we saw that before now you saw a lot of what you may call gutter being constructed beside a lot of roads, several roads projects. And what that meant is that over time the flood that comes from the different areas within the city overwhelmed these very shallow drains, otherwise called gutter, and then it made it impossible for the roads to serve the purpose for which they were constructed ab initio, particularly during the rainy season. In addition to that, we also noticed that even the natural water courses, what you may call natural waterways, have also been blocked, either have been heavily seated or have been has some houses or structures built along such corridor. And when that happens, it means that the water is either overflowing its natural course and then entering into streets, and then making a number of streets impassable during the rainy season, or a number of houses submerged. With the establishment of the Warri and Environment Development Agency, we thought it wise to deploy the agency as a vehicle to implement the projects that we have for the commercial city of Warri and of course, and environs. And I'm happy to report, just like your reporter was able to also properly feature in the course of that report, that a lot is being done by that agency. A number of drains is being constructed. When I mean drains, I'm talking about storm drainage. Some are buried underground, that by the time they are done, you hardly notice that anything has happened, but is able to convey large volume of water into the different river bodies that you have within and around Warri. So we came today for the purpose of inspecting a number of these projects, so that we could see the speed with which they are being executed, and at the same time for the governor to also have first-hand information as to how much the agency is progressing with this number of projects. And the governor is happy with the speed of work being carried out by the agency, deploying the services of the CCECC and also Levant Construction Company. The governor made it very clear that he's pleased with the state of work at the moment, and hopes that and expressed the willingness of the state government to give the agency and indeed these contractors more support, because we believe that when that is done, they will be able to execute the projects and then deliver in good time. So we are confident that what we have done is the right thing. Having had a study, there was first of all a study before we came up with the construction of these storm drainages.
Okay. Now, lots of residents in Warri and Everins have commended the state governor. As you rightly said, he's pleased with the progress of the work so far. A lot of residents have commended the state governor. But there are some concerns by some of them who complain of slow pace of execution, especially with the rains fast approaching. What would be your stand?
Well, it's like when you have something good that you need to do, you don't sacrifice the efficiency of execution of that project on the altar of just wanting speed. First, there are houses, like I mentioned, that were built on these water channels. We needed to determine those ones that were in existence before the last 2 years, in which case we will have to pay compensation. But unfortunately, like the governor have also mentioned, those who built along those water bodies in the last 2 years after we have given our initial warning, including those that were even marked and asked to stop work, and they decide to be stubborn and progressed, unfortunately we are going to bring down those structures because their own action is causing a lot of havoc and discomfort to majority of our brothers and sisters who live in this commercial city. By the time you build your house along a water course, water they say must find its level. It means that water must now progress to another direction. Maybe you are a big man, you are able to elevate your foundation such that when the volume of water rises, it's not going to affect you. And then the other poorer person who may not have the funds to build the way you have built is now inconvenienced, in which case you want to oppress them. And it is the responsibility of government to also protect the oppressed. We will not want those who think that they have got so much money to now go and build their houses along these water courses and cause inconveniences for other deltans who have over the years been law abiding. That we will do. And in the course of doing that, it's not something you just do in one day. You must be able to do it well. Look at even the size of the drains, and then the length. 24 kilometers of drains crisscrossing the length and breadth of these two local governments, Uwe and Warri, and having to look out for those natural water courses so that you evacuate this large volume of water into these natural water courses for onward evacuation into the different river bodies that you have here in Warri and environs. And so it's not something that you just come in, you bring one bulldozer and just begin to bulldoze everywhere because you want people to praise you. What we are interested in as a government is to be able to deliver a project that will not only stand the test of time, but that would have addressed the perennial problem of flooding in Warri, which is a very, very important city to us. We have done it in Asaba, and we believe that having done it in the capital territory, that it's also important that we also execute the same thing here in Warri. And we are confident that as we make progress, believing that God will also assist us in terms of revenue, that we will progress to other urban areas like Ugeli and Abo to be able to also address the major issues of flooding in these major cities, because it does nobody any good.
Okay, very interesting that you had to make mention of those who are building shops on waterways. You've addressed that issue. I would have asked that question. But now, let's look at other issues. Does the federal state government of Tekoyoko are we supposed to expect more, commission and inspection of projects? By
this time tomorrow, we would have ended up with the commission of 3 very important projects in Warri. We will start with the Ubeji route, and after that we will progress to the NNPC bypass just by Bon Hotel, and then of course thereafter we will go to the Ubadu Amide Secondary School, Ubadu Secondary School, and then these 3 different projects are not the only projects we have executed in Warri. But for this round of commissioning, those are the 3 projects. We are expecting the governor of Bayelsa State, His Excellency Senator Odiri, to join His Excellency Senator Dr. Ato Ifeanyi to commission these projects. And once we are done with that, there are a number of other projects that we have lined up between now and May that we are going to commission that have been executed in the last, some of them 2 years, some of them have been on for about 3 years, depending on the size and the nature of these projects. We will commission them for our people to also know that the number of these life-touching projects have been executed by this administration. So tomorrow we're also going to get busy starting by 11 o'clock, commissioning these projects, even as we continue to also initiate new ones. Like I said, I'm happy you have also invited the Director General of Warri Special Area Development Authority to be able to shed light on the effort they are making, because these projects, a number of these projects in Warri are being supervised by the agency. And so, you know, they have more, the DG has more detailed information as to what the stress is going through implementing these programs of government vis-a-vis the demands of the people, as well as the import of these different projects. So I'll be glad perhaps after your break you also have him, after you have invited him, to also shed light on these issues.
Yeah, I want to say a very big thank you to the Commissioner, Delta State Commissioner for Information, Mr. Chazanyangu, for this enlightening conversation
Thanks for having me
about the project. And so we will be commencing on the break, and thereafter I'll be speaking to the Director General of WID, Comrade Obuze Makoni.
Hey guys, booking bus tickets on Delta Line just got easier. You can now book your bus tickets right on your phone. Here's how. Step 1, download the Delta Line app from your Play Store. Step 2, sign up and complete your profile on the app. Step 3, select your book a seat icon and search for the available bus going to your destination. Step 4, proceed to pick your preferred seat. Step 5, make payments. Just like that, you're booked for the trip. Don't take my word for it. Give it a try. Download the Delta Line app now. If you follow no road, you don't go get wahala.
...2021 Delta State Local Government General Election, Public Enlightenment and Civic Education. The Local Government Council General Election in Delta State is around the corner. It is another opportunity to exercise your civic right by voting for the candidates of your choice on March 6, 2021 by using your voter's card. You are expected to visit the polling station closest to you come March 6, 2021 at 8 a.m. for simultaneous accreditation and voting so that you can cast your vote for the chairmanship and councillorship candidate of your choice. Exercise your civic right. Be wise in the use of your vote. Avoid thuggery and ballot box snatching, as security personnel will be on ground to maintain law and order. Remember, your vote is your power. Please note, no face mask, no voting. This message is brought to you by the Delta State Independent Electoral Commission, DSEC.
The DBS essay writing competition is finally here. The DBS essay writing competition season 1 invites all registered students for the competition to the first stage of the competition, 27th February 2021 at Federal Government College, Warri at 10 a.m. Second stage, 5th March 2021, Nana College, Warri at 10 a.m. Third stage, 13 March 2021 at Hussey College, Warri at 10 a.m. And the first, second, and third winner will emerge for the junior and senior categories, while the grand finale for presentation of prizes comes up 18th March 2021 at Federal Government College, Warri. Come with your face mask and put on your school uniform for the competition. DBS essay writing competition is proudly powered by Delta Broadcasting Service, Warri. For partnership and sponsorship, call 0805 758 0466 or 0813 897 5858. DBS essay writing competition, building tomorrow's communicators.
Back, you just joined us, you're watching DRTV News Tonight, live from Warri, Delta State. The Delta State Environmental Sanitation Task Force has commenced the demolition of illegal structures along the Warri-Sapler Road. More than 100 of such structures were demolished during the exercise led by Sylvester Oromoni, the state task force chairman. Correspondent Linus Chiba reports that during the 5-day exercise, all illegal and makeshift structures on the route will be removed. The report. Exercise all illegal and makeshift structures. Well, moving on DRTV News, we have the Director General Wari Ugwe and Environs Development Agency, Comrade Ovuzoye Makoli, is here to throw more light on the efforts of the agency in the development of Wari Ugwe and Environs. So please do have it with us.
Thank you.
And so the conversation is about the projects that your agency has been executing. I would like you to throw more light on it.
Well, first and foremost, I must thank you for bringing me on your program. Secondly, I need to say that the agency is today 18 months old, because I've heard you when you were speaking with my colleague, Commissioner of Information, about some complaints as to the fact that there's a slow pace of work. I'm surprised anybody will complain of the slow pace of work. I need to clear that, because those two major contracts, the two-floor stormwater drainage, were awarded December 1999, and they started work January and February 2020, and by March, like we're on, the COVID started, and there was a national lockdown, and for about 6 months nobody did anything in this country. And so we could say that rightly we lost the whole of last year, and due to no fault of either the government or the contractors, because the government had actually mobilized them to go to site. They too had mobilized to site, but suddenly there was a pandemic, a global one for that matter, and people left for their safety. We mainly returned back to job October, and between October and now we've done massive work. The web side, the CCCC, has attained over 35% of their work. The level and handling, the Wari South End, has attained, as of today, just a little above 25% of their work. And this is just in the last 6 months. So I'm very confident that all things being equal, having the level of cooperation we're having from the communities now in terms of restiveness, if we continue to have this level of cooperation, we are sure that by this time next year, these jobs will be rounded up. So I think so far they'll be working with the speed. It would be wrong or unfair to complain of slow pace.
Okay, I would like to know how you're handling solid and liquid waste management in Wari and in
Yeah, you see, this job is not all for the agency. The issue of solid waste management is not part of my responsibility for now. Our responsibility is to see that there is development in terms of infrastructure, and that we started with the stormwater drainage, flood drainage. We are doing other road work and other drainages, because the stormwater, if you understand it well, is that it's something you cannot see ordinarily. It's just because the work is going on now, you know work is going on here. It's supposed to be an underground, buried underground. Because what we have had in Wari and environment through before now is just surface drains, or what we call the gutter, that was actually not discharging into anywhere. And that you see that most of the time they are silted, because they just became a home for mosquitoes and reptiles, because they were not being trained into any particular channel. So the underground drainage, what we call stormwater, now it's called underground drainage, which can take 2 people of your size down and nobody will see you. So the existing gutters, let me use the word gutter now, are now being channeled into those ones. They will now be opened to this, what we are doing now, which will now take the water to the various discharge channels which we have created, which ordinarily were not there. And that is why you see that most of the gutters that were there before now were all seated, apart from the human factor of dumping things into it. And that is something I need to quickly talk about, because we are known not to be very hygienic as it is in the Wari area. Unfortunately, Wari happens to be one of the deadliest cities in this country. I'm sorry to say, but that is the fact, because it's open anywhere. It's only Wari you can see somebody wake up in the morning, the gutter in front of his house, we throw the dustbin, throw everything into it, and it's smelling, and he or she will not mind. People have built across waterways and returning the natural water even into the streets, and people don't mind, and nobody is complaining. We need to begin to change from these habits of doing things. We need to get the fact that it is in our responsibility to maintain our environment. Somebody should be able to clean the front of his house, clean the gutter, empty it.
Well, isn't there anything your agency is doing to ensure that people comply with hygienic, procedures?
Yeah, what do we do?
Ensure that your agency achieves its goals.
What we can do?
If you're making or executing drainage projects, somehow this solid waste can hamper your progress.
Yeah, what we can do is to create the awareness. After that, we go to step 2. The step 2 will be now to punish. Now we're still doing awareness. We will leave the level of awareness, and thank God the governor has opened this phase 2 now. Deal with anybody who fails to obey. So when we tell you don't build and you build, we bring it down. If we clean up the front of your gutter and you go there, we come there the next day, you are dumping it, we'll take you to court. So we're going to come out with the monitoring team that will be able to apprehend people who are going against the rules to make Warri dirty. But we need to shout out now so that people don't say tomorrow, oh, government is being high-handed. If you don't want to follow the rules, then of course government has no other means than to punish you. So we're going into it, but we didn't want to start with punishment. We want to start with creating the awareness first, tell people the right thing to do, and when they fail to do it, we cannot go for punishment.
Okay, your agency is saddled with the responsibility of developing the Warri metropolis. Now, residents are honestly looking forward to Warri becoming a developed city, with all the infrastructures. What would your agency do in actualizing this vision?
What we do is what we're already doing now. We're only praying that the agency is further empowered in terms of finances. We do more than it's doing. If you go around the Kumagba area, you go around the express, you see various works going on outside this stormwater drainage. We have other works that are going on. Surface drains are going on, road maintenance going on, and we actually started the cleaning exercise, if you remember, 1999 to early 2020. But unfortunately, like we said, we all left town because of the pandemic, and by the time we came back, Warri being the type of soil it is, all the weeds, everything has overgrown again. But we intend to come back to that so that we can give Warri a facelift.
Very big thank you to Director General Warri and Environment Development Agency, Comrade Makali. Thank you very much for taking our time to be with us on the program. DRTV News tonight, I beg your pardon. So,
thank you.
DRTV News continues. People's Democratic Party in Uwe local government has rounded off its campaign to all the wards in the area with a call on the people to come out in mass and vote for Honorable Ramsey Onoyake and the entire PDP councillorship candidates in Saturday's election. The call comes just as the leadership of the PDP in Uwe paid a courtesy visit to the Uwe of Uwe Kingdom Emmanuel Sidi Ibe the First to seek his royal blessing. The report.
The leadership of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) was led into the palace of the King, the chairman of the party, the King, other associates were the House of Representatives representing Uwe, Executive Chief, Delta State House of Assembly, Honorable Solomon Igrapata, former member House of Representatives, Honorable Evelyn Oboro, the PDP chairmanship candidate, Honorable Ramsey Onoyake, and the vice chairmanship candidate, Olorogo Dane Igedo, the PDP Uwe campaign council chairman, Honorable Alex Amudo, the vice chairman of PDP in Uwe, Chief Rose Ogene, among other party leaders. After the introduction of the PDP chairmanship candidate to the Ovie of Uwe Kingdom, the traditional ruler lauded the first tenure of Honorable Ramsey Onoyake and said he should be given the needed support in the elections. Abe the First prayed for Honorable Ramsey Onoyake, urging him and other contestants to be peaceful during the election. He also prayed for other PDP leaders during the visit. Earlier, the party leadership led the candidates in Saturday's election to solicit for votes from the electorate at Enere Junction Ward 3 and Ogbomro Ward 7. At Enere Junction, where the chairman of the PDP in Uwe, Dikin Efe Koledo, handed the party's flag to the councillors for Saturday's election, the PDP chairmanship candidate, Honorable Ramsey Onoyake, PDP leader and deputy chief whip at the Delta State House of Assembly, Honorable Solomon Igrapata, Honorable Evelyn Oboro, and Honorable Alex Amudo urged the electorate to vote for the PDP in Saturday's election. The campaign trail then moved to Ugbono Primary School, where speaker after speaker, including the PDP chairmanship candidate, Honorable Ramsey Onoyake, Honorable Solomon Igrapata, and Honorable Evelyn Oboro, addressed the gathering and lauded Governor Ifeanyi Okowa and the people of Ward 7 for their faith in the administration.
PDP! Part of the people, Ward 7, we preaching our well. We thank God for today. Say we don't come here again. We come present on our candidates to not be so. Like right honorable, if you know to talk, he said Ward 7. Now PDP ward, not be so.
Please, let us shun politics of bitterness. Once a candidate has emerged, we must all queue behind that candidate. Whether it's a candidate of your choice or not, it is God that giveth power. So when God says, is this person, support the person. PDP!
I want to assure you that the 3 councillors from this world are wonderful persons that are going to work fully with the local government council chairman. And whatever you need in your world will get to you by God's grace. I want to assure you that we are not going to disappoint you by God's grace.
PDP party chairman Efe Okoledo, the party's campaign council chairman Alex Amudo, and Chief Rose Ogene and Prince Kelly Utwedo harped on the need to vote for the PDP in Saturday's election.
You have the women, you have the youth, you have the dead. I want to pray all of you. Tell your wives, tell your husbands, tell your children, those that are landlords or landowners that have never developed their land, that sold their land one way or the other. Please, they are your tenants. Plead with them to come out on the 6th of March and vote for PDP.
PDP all the way. Tell your brothers, your sisters, your mama, your papa, tell everybody, say that day, may they come out and vote for PDP.
We've reached out to people. We created the awareness that the elections is coming on the 6th. And we also have pleaded with them to vote for the party. We are convinced that we have done the needful. It is expected that the electorate will vote for us. We expect nothing short than victory on that day.
We are appealing to everybody in Ubia local government. Please come out with your voters card in a peaceful and quiet manner. We don't want any violence, any thuggery, any rumor mongers. But please come out quietly that day on Saturday. There is no place good things can take place without a peaceful environment. And I can assure you that Saturday, Ubia will be ready for peaceful local.
The 2-week PDP campaign rally took the candidates and the PDP leaders to all the wards in Uwe soliciting for votes. The campaigns from other political parties, including chieftains of the APC in Uwe and their supporters, joined the PDP and vowed to win votes for all the party's candidates in Saturday's election.
Emmanuel Sidesu Abe the First. With 5 days to the local government elections in Delta State, there are fears that voters' apathy could be recorded during Saturday's poll across the 25 local government areas in the state. The DRTV News correspondent Joyce Siete sampled the views of some eligible voters who spoke with mixed feelings. The report.
The respondents who spoke with mixed feelings rated the former council chairman and their councillors as having performed above 50%. 2 of the respondents noted that only few of the former council chairmen performed credibly well.
The present local government chairman, he tried his best, but he needed to be added more to the best. You know, the government is not bad, it's only the person that is the head, is not the government. It is the subordinates people who works with him, and people who assist and give advice. Everybody should put more effort to make sure that the government or the local government chairman succeed more.
To me, averagely, many of them have done well. They've done well. If any of them is coming for re-election again, they should build on their past. They should build on their past and make sure most of the problems that obstructed their social and other infrastructure that's supposed to put in place, we are done now.
They however called for more efforts from the council chairman if elected in Saturday's election. For one of the respondents, there could be fear of voter apathy because of the poor performance of the former council chairman.
The vote, I never ready to cast any vote, and me, and some the why they hear so because some people they say they not go come out that they go if cast any vote because the way our people they behave, if some kind of things come their way, like which is our leaders from the local government, they just collect everything by themselves. So the masses they vex say they not go come outside cast their vote.
The respondents, however, asked the contestants to fulfill their electioneering promises to the people if they are elected for a second tenure.
The promises, so we be like say they promise before they say they won't enter that place. So maybe they fulfill other promises. Now all those tonight they made the masses they vex because they enter there, they not they fulfill anything again. They not they know anybody again. So everybody they vex.
The way I should say they should focus up very mostly this time around should be on the educational level and the insecurities mostly.
The Delta State Independent Electoral Commission (DSEC) has fixed March 6 for the conduct of the council polls across the 25 local government areas.
As the clock ticks for the local government elections, the chairman of the State Advisory Council, Professor Sam Oyowari, has called on Deltans to come out on March 6th to massively cast their votes for all chairmanship and councillorship candidates of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) so as to reap more democratic gains at the grassroots level. Professor Oyowari made the call Monday when the Okwe PDP campaign train visited Okuraja, Ward 16, Adeji, Ward 15, Okwetolo, Ward 18, and Onyenki, Ward 17. The report.
The Okpe PDP train on Monday stormed Okwetolo Ward 18, Onyeke Ward 17, Opraja Ward 16, and Adeje Ward 15 to drum support for the Okpe PDP chairmanship candidate, Mr. Isaiah Esiowa, and the 20 councillorship candidates. The chairman of the State Advisory Council, Professor Sam Oyowari, who addressed the campaign team and party faithful in Opuraja, stated that the PDP-led government in the state has done much for Deltans, and as such, there was need for all to reciprocate by voting massively for all candidates of the party, while restating that Opuraja and Adeje remains the home of PDP. Professor Sam Oyowari assured that there is no opposition party in the world, as most of the PDP candidates are unopposed. At Okwetolo Ward, Onyeke Ward, Opraja Ward, and Adeje Ward, the Okpe PDP chairmanship candidate, Mr. Isaiah Esiowa, assured them they will give priority to skill acquisition program, youth and women empowerment if eventually emerged chairman, appealing to them to cast their vote for him in order to contribute his quota to the development of Okpe local government area. The chairman of Okpe Campaign Council, Chief James Ogoye, the chairman of the party, Chief Efe Uko, and a member of the campaign council, Dr. Joseph Otere, all described the Okpe PDP candidate as a grassroots politician who is fully committed to the overall development of Okpe.
Our voter registered card should be available with us.
We'll carry all of them along. Anything that is possible within our reach, we try as much as possible to empower them.
And I will always say that Okpe is PDP and PDP is Okpe.
The chairman of the non-indigenous in Okpe local government, Mrs. Adeni Dolapo, and some leaders of the communities visited expressed their readiness to vote massively for all candidates of the PDP on March 16.
Everybody will come out. That will not be the issue. Now our votes that we are waiting. My message is that PDP will listen. Vote PDP, preach PDP, stand by PDP. We will never fail. We are promise keepers.
Because of what they are doing for us, because they remember us that war committee is there.
In this election, I'm very sure that the chairmanship election is going to be 100% PDP.
The Okpe campaign train continues with visit to Ororope wards. For DRTV News, Ogene Rona Oyibo reporting.
Delta State Environmental Sanitation Task Force has commenced the demolition of illegal structures along the Warri-Sapele Road. More than 100 of such structures were demolished during the exercise led by Sylvester Rumuni, the State Task Force Chairman. Correspondent Linus Chima reports that during the 5 days exercise, all illegal and makeshift structures on the route were removed.
Corrugated roofing sheets, wood and other things used to construct the shops all came crashing at the weight of the bulldozer. For hours, officials of the State Environmental Task Force, led by its chairman, Sylvester Rumuni, directed the demolition of illegal structures one after the other. The people who were affected cried over their losses, but some others chose to understand. Everyone agreed that the congested look of Warri was not a true representation of what Warri should look like. However, there still remains the need to strike a balance between a clean environment and economic survival. Oromoni explained that the people were given a 3-week notice to remove their structures and that the notice has extended over 1.5 years with constant reminders to them. He observed that most of the structures were constructed under electricity high-tension wires with the possibility of electrocution if the wires snapped suddenly. The State Environmental Task Force Chairman was also unhappy that much of the drainages were silted up and directed that they be cleaned immediately.
It's a great, very beautiful environment for me, for themselves, for everybody. This is where the entrance of Warri, everybody's coming from here. So if this entrance is not okay, people will be thinking that the whole of Warri is the same thing. That this is not a very good example.
The Director, State Environmental Task Force, Amara Ebu, explained that the cleanup of Warri Metropolis must come with some pains. She called for understanding and cooperation from the people in the city. As the task force continues its job of keeping Warri clean, it has announced that in the next 5 days, men and bulldozers will sweep all illegal structures along Warri-Sapele Road up to a full roundabout in the first instance. Linus Chima reporting.
The spate of kidnapping and terrorist attacks rocking the northern part of Nigeria has disrupted the transportation of foodstuffs to Delta State. What's hit is the oil city of Warri, where tomatoes and fresh pepper is almost beyond the reach of many households. DRTV News correspondent Joycine Siete was at Igbudu and Efru markets and now reports.
Tomatoes, fresh pepper and onions, 3 major food items needed in every home to prepare delicious dishes, are now almost out of the reach of many households. The prices of the 3 commodities have risen sharply in the markets. A basket of tomato that sold for 5,000 naira 2 weeks ago now sells for 15,000 naira or more at Igbudu market, Warri. The price of onions that was also cheap 2 weeks ago has shot up. Fresh pepper is worst hit as its price has risen astronomically. Fresh pepper was not available in the Igbudu market Monday morning as at the time of filing this report. The secretary of the Tomatoes Traders Association in the Igbudu market, Mr. Evans Modi, explains.
Based on this Fulani herdsmen killing here and there,
the Farmers Association and the Traders Association, they team up, they came together. So on their own, they decided not to harvest their crops, their farm produce, and they block the road where you can take the goods down to the south.
Elsewhere within the Igbodo market, traders were seen shading their wares. A trader on tomatoes and fresh pepper described the development as worrisome. Meanwhile, the blockade of roads from the north to the south to protest the continued herdsmen attacks and incidents of kidnapping leading to the scarcity of foodstuffs to Delta State and other southern states seems to be a wake-up call on Deltans and the people of the South to embark on aggressive farming. These were the reactions to a question put across to them by DRTV news correspondents.
The cost, the one where we buy this morning na 13,500. You not reach anything. 9 grand, yes. Fresh pepper, still go one self not there. One feet not there. It's very cost. We not take that see ourselves.
Even onions when come down before, it don't go up again. Pepper now even cost. It cost past tomatoes. Today now I send my girl go market. Now he come me say no fit buy. Now I say make you buy ordinary pepper, make it start. When we go the market, go buy. You think when you buy 1,000 naira, when you go back, 500 don't enter. But here now we know the food they increase that. The one we cook finish, then they complain.
The respondents, however, advised the state and federal government to encourage more youth to go into farming, with government providing the needed farm implement and funding. Joel Singh, Esiete, DRTV News.
Meanwhile, traders gathered at a fruit market to transact the weekly market, which fell on Monday, with many of them complaining of high cost of living, harsh economic conditions, and prices of foodstuffs that have gone up every day. That's going up every day. The report.
In the meantime, traders at a fruit market say they are struggling to make ends meet owing to the harsh economic climate. The traders, mostly women, deal on palm oil, garri, tomatoes, and different types of consumables. They noted that cost of living is high, while foodstuffs in the market are recording daily hike in prices.
Everything there. I dey sell garri 1,200. I dey sell am. Not be Nigeria bad.
What about the gallon?
The gallon na 11. So this one na 2,000 naira 4 liters. So the price sell at 1.8.
We know they fit dey sell tomatoes correct. We go buy am. We no go fit sell our tomatoes too there. They say they block road.
Then we make our own farm. Like my place.
We see they do farm.
We get River Niger there. Ilushi, that they plant rice, that they plant tomatoes, that they plant pepper. Government no want answer them. Answer them, we will get food for here.
I hear say that they fight for not. Whether na true, whether na lie.
On ways out of the high cost of living, the traders want both the federal and state governments to address the daily needs of the people. The traders also advise government at all levels to create jobs by removing unemployed graduates from the streets.
Make his children go trade, make it give them work, make it company full the whole Nigeria. Make his children fornication go come out, our robber go come out, kidnap go come out, work not this and then everything. All this one they happen so. When I bring job,
okay.
Suffer too much.
The fruit market is traded weekly and it records large turnout of people, mostly women from far and near. The main focus of the traders is to eke a living for themselves and family, undermining the capital in hand.
The need for members of the public to support the Nigerian police with information that would contribute in the reduction of crimes in their locality have been stressed by the Executive Assistant to the Delta State Governor and Police Relations, Ambassador Odette Ojuwumide. Ambassador Odette, who made this known during a parley with members of the Police Community Relations Committee PCRC Ekpan Division, reiterates the importance of community policing, noting that such strategy will help bridge security lapses in the state and the country at large. The report.
Ambassador Odette Ojuwumide, while commending members of the Police Community Relations Committee PCRC in the state for their contributions, urged them not to relent in partnering with the Nigerian police so as to enable them arrest crimes effectively. Ambassador Ojuwumide, who revealed that the police needs the people to succeed, called for reorientation of the minds of the public as well as training of police officers. She noted that the task of the Nigerian police is hectic, hence the need for community policing.
We should have more recruitment and more training and retraining of police officers so that they can do the work of policing perfectly. I always commend police officers because the work they are doing is between life and death.
The chairman, Police Community Relations Committee, Ekpan Division, Elder Kingsley Uti, and the acting PCRC chairman, Delta State Chapter, Comrade Oliver Eyefia, pointed out the need for collaborations of the public and the Nigerian police. Elder Uti and Comrade Eyefia, who equally commended the governor's aid for her tireless contributions, appealed to the state and federal governments to assist hardworking police officers so as to inspire the entire police in giving their best to the service.
Follow this entourage here today shows the level of commitment some of the residents in the environment has for security. Probably that's the best way we will have seen our support coming in to give the police our individual or collective support to see how we can bring crime to this barest minimum.
We want to encourage everyone and all that they should be supportive to the fact that the police, they are the nearest enforcement at the grassroots to the citizens of this great country, Nigeria.
The Divisional Police Officer, DPO, Ekpan Police Station, Mr. Ibok Asanei, was present during the event.
The senior pastor of God's Delight Gospel Assembly, Pastor John Mark Igosotu, has donated a Toyota Highlander Jeep to the Archbishop of Warri Province of the African Church Warri, Most Reverend Isaac Obie, to mark his enthronement and empowerment service. Pastor Igosotu said the gesture was to appreciate Most Reverend Obie for his contributions towards the spiritual growth during his formative years. The report.
It was celebration galore at the African Church Warri Province as his Archbishop, Most Reverend Isaac Obie, who has served the church for 36 years, was presented with a Toyota Highlander Jeep by the senior pastor of God's Delight Gospel Assembly, Pastor John Mark Igosotu, to mark his enthronement and empowerment Thanksgiving service. Presenting the car key to the beneficiary, Pastor John Mark Igosotu said Most Reverend Obie tutored him as a child and youth on the ways of God, noting that what he learned from him contributed a lot to his spiritual growth. The religious minister said the gesture was his own way of appreciating the clergyman, whom he referred to as his father, for his invaluable contributions to his life. Pastor Igosotu urged religious leaders to always appreciate those who contributed to their success in life.
Be a blessing to a father like that, who God has used us to impart me so many years ago. I felt honor when I heard he wants to be ordained as Archbishop. I decided to play that role to honor him as a father. My call to Christians is we should grow beyond hoarding things ourselves and live beyond just within ourselves and go on how to be impactful.
Responding, the Archbishop of African Church of Nigeria, Warri Province, Most Reverend Isaac Obie, who was visibly elated, prayed God to bless Pastor John Mark Igosotu for the gesture. He noted that God has used Pastor Igosotu to bless him for his 36 years as a clergyman, adding that it has boosted his morale.
I'm grateful to God that all that I put in, today God has rewarded me. I appreciate all that came, especially Pastor John Mark.
The primate of the African Church Nigeria, Dr. Emmanuel Josiah Udofia, and the General Secretary of Warri Province of the African Church Nigeria, Evangelist Eddie Orogu, commended Pastor John Mark Igosotu for the gesture and for remembering his root.
Pastor Igosotu, he should not hold back. He should keep doing it because by so doing, the primate has prayed for him already. His ministry will be so enlarged and will go beyond leaps and bounds.
High point of the ceremony was the presentation of the key of the Toyota Highlander Jeep to Most Reverend Isaac Obie by the donor, Pastor John Mark Igosotu.
And now on COVID-19 update, the Nigerian Center for Disease Control (NCDC) says Nigeria has recorded 240 new confirmed cases and 2 deaths. According to the latest figure obtained from the NCDC website Sunday midnight, reveals that the total number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 now stands at 155,657, out of which 133,768 cases have been discharged, while 1,907 deaths have been recorded in the 30 states and the Federal Capital Territory. The 240 new cases are reported from 13 states. A breakdown of the states shows that Anambra recorded 85 cases, Lagos 82, Osun 17, Ogun 10, Kwara 9, FCT 8, Kano 7, Abia 6, Ekiti 5, Borno 4, Edo, Bayelsa and Kaduna 2, while Rivers 1. And on business news, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) has denied report of any increment in the price of premium motor spirit petrol in the country in March 2021. The NNPC disclosed this in the statement signed on Sunday by the Group General Manager, Group Public Affairs Division, Dr. Kenny Obateru. Obateru stated that the corporation was not contemplating any rise in the price of petrol in March in order not to jeopardize ongoing engagement with organized labor and other stakeholders on an acceptable framework that would not expose the ordinary Nigerian to any hardship. The NNPC also cautioned petroleum products marketers not to engage in arbitrary increase of price or hoarding of petrol in order not to create artificial scarcity and unnecessary hardship for Nigerians. The corporation also stated that it has enough stock of petrol to keep the nation well supplied for over 40 days and therefore urged motorists to avoid panic buying. It further called on relevant statutory regulatory authorities to step up the monitoring of the activities of marketers with a view to sanctioning those involved in product hoarding and arbitrary increase in firm price. And on that note, we conclude the DRTV News tonight. But before we go, a recap of our top stories. We told you that Governor Fayo Kowa on Monday inspected ongoing construction of stormwater project in Efru, Warri and Environs, and backed upon by the Warri, Uwe and Environs Special Area Development Agency, WEDA. Correspondent reports that Governor Kowa was taken around the drainage project by the Director General of WEDA, Commodore Buzoye Macaulay. We also told you that the spate of kidnapping and terrorist attack rocking the northern parts of Nigeria has disrupted the transportation of foodstuffs to Delta State. Worst hit is the oil city of Warri, where tomatoes and fresh pepper is almost beyond the reach of many households. And that's it on the DRTV News tonight. I'm Ogali Mafuru. Thank you for watching. Do have a wonderful evening rest.